Hey there folks, welcome to another Homebrew Wednesday. As you'll notice here, this is the Bramble Melomel, which I was only moments ago racked out of this container, leaving this wonderful compound of silt at the bottom of that container. Now if I was so inclined, I could take that and use it to restart something else, because the yeast is still very much active. Even though, having tested this in the hydrometer, and it's now down to the magical 1, not 0.99, straight on the 1, which means it's a perfect place to bottle. But I'm going to leave it for a little while because it has been so active. I'm going to keep it, having moved it now to the demijohn with the airlock, I'm going to keep it for another week or two and just see how it gets along. But, as ever, I reserved a little. Now what's fascinating to me is that the colour difference, because obviously this almost looks like whiskey, or possibly apple juice, and yet it's the same, just in the concentration makes it look a little bit darker in the demijohn. Now, straight off the top, you can really smell the fruit in this. I mean, it smells like a melomel, but with the addition of the blackberry or bramble jam has really made a massive difference. There's a fruitiness, there's a richness. It doesn't actually smell distinctly of blackberries though. It's kind of a miscellaneous fruity, almost just summer fruit smell. And slightly flowery, but not overpoweringly so. It's got a dryness. It's not a tannin. It's got a dryness on the tongue, but a sharp alcoholic dryness. But it's still very fruity. A very slight hint of almost a citrusy bitterness at the back of it. The way you get if you drink grapefruit juice. That kind of just kind of taste at the back of it. But it's quite mild. Actually, just adds to it. This is going to be lovely to drink. This is going to be lovely to drink chilled on hot summer days. In fact, I think I'll definitely bottle this and save it for the summer. So as I said, this came out at 1, which, considering it went in at 1 point, I think it was 1094, I believe is what it went in at, which, having calculated out, gives me about 12%. So that's not bad. You know, it's possibly on the low end for a mead, but no, it's going to be really rather nice. So now my just has been happening of late. I've been pondering over what to do next. I think the next step, obviously, is the long, many and oft time put off beer that I've been talking about brewing for a long time, and I seem to always find reasons to put that off. Largely, I think, just because it's so different from making wines or meads. I've kind of just been leaving it and just thinking, well, I'll get around to it when I've got some time. But now feels like a good time. So I think hopefully this time next week, fingers crossed, I'll be able to give you a little video of me making some beer, or at least starting one off. And I'll maybe stick on another melomel, or possibly a mead, or maybe just a straight wine. I quite fancy doing maybe a peach wine, so I'll have to look into finding some good peach juice, or somewhere I can find some peaches at a reasonable price at this time of year, which not always the best. Obviously supermarkets run the whole year round, but this being Scotland, and this being February, and no, not February, it's the end of January, it'll be February very soon. It's moving into the coldest period of the year. Most people don't realise this about Scotland, but for the last, especially in the central belt, for the last sort of like 10-15 years, we've actually tended to have the coldest part of the year moving away from Christmas into the new year, to the point where it's now more or less expected that you're going to get snows in February, and I would expect that we'll probably get them in the next few weeks, probably around about the end of the first or second week of February, which should be interesting for people filming, all my filmmaker friends out there, out on location. But as well as that, the irony is that March is usually the hottest time of the year, or the first hot period of the year. Even last year, which was incredibly warm, we have this lovely little burst into some point in mid-March, usually only about 2 or 3 weeks after the snows, where suddenly the temperature rockets up to the mid-20s and then drops back down to sort of about 15, 16 degrees. Speaking of temperature degrees, that'll be the new boiler. But anyway, folks, just a short video this week. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this. So for the rest of you, happy Homebrew Wednesday. Feel free to drop a comment in the bottom and let me know if you're brewing something yourself. Thanks.